Hello, my name is Nikki. I am 22 years old. I am in my final year of university. I study literature, which is funny because I never liked reading love stories. They always felt fake. Too perfect. The boy gets the girl. The sun sets. The music plays. But real love? Real love is noisy. It is confusing. It is the sound of a coffee machine breaking at 7 a.m. and still laughing about it. My husband's name is Daniel, but in class, I have to call him Professor Evans. Yes, Evans. Not honey. Not babe. Not can you pass the salt? No. In that white-walled classroom with the ugly green chairs, he is Professor Evans. And I am just Nikki. Student number 2047. How did we get here? Let me go back 3 years. 3 years ago, I was 19. I was a little broken. Not the dramatic, crying on the floor broken, but the quiet kind. The kind where you smile at people, but inside you feel nothing. I had just ended a bad relationship. A very bad one. My ex-boyfriend, Mark, he was, how do I say this nicely? He was a storm. He yelled. He made me small. He told me my dreams were stupid. When we broke up, I felt two things, relief and emptiness. Mostly emptiness. So I threw myself into my studies. Books became my friends. Characters in novels became my company. I stopped going to parties. I stopped trusting people easily. My mother called me and said, "Nikki, you are too young to be this tired." I laughed, but she was right. Then one day, I saw a flyer on the university bulletin board. It said, Creative Writing Workshop, Evening Class, taught by Daniel Evans. I needed an extra credit. I thought, why not? I can write sad poems about my sad life. So I signed up. The first class was on a Tuesday. It was raining. I remember because my shoes got wet and I was already in a bad mood. I walked into the room. Small room. Books everywhere. Coffee smell. And then I saw him. He was standing by the window, looking outside. He had brown hair, a little messy. Glasses. A gray sweater. He was not trying to be handsome. He just was. He turned around when people walked in. He smiled. And I swear, my stomach did a little flip. Like a pancake. A nervous pancake. He said, "Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel. I'll be your guide into the messy, beautiful world of writing. Please don't be scared of me." Everyone laughed. I laughed too. But inside, I thought, oh no. Oh no, no, no. Why? Because he was young. Maybe 26 or 27. Not an old professor with a beard and boring voice. He was real. He talked about writing like it was alive. He said, words are not just words. Words are feelings you forgot you had. I wrote that in my notebook. And then I underlined it 3 times. That first night, he asked us to write something true. Something we had never told anyone. I panicked. I looked around. Other students wrote quickly. I stared at my blank page. Then I wrote this. I am afraid of being loved because every time someone loves me, they leave. So I leave first. It's safer. I did not sign my name, but he read all the papers after class. The next week, he came to me, very gently. He said, "You wrote this, didn't you?" I froze. "How do you know?" He said, "Because you sit in the back. You never raise your hand. But when I talk about love in stories, you look like you're in pain. That kind of pain only comes from someone who has been hurt before." I wanted to cry, but I didn't. I just nodded. He said, "Nikki, you are a good writer, but you don't believe you deserve a happy story. That is the real problem." That was the first time a teacher saw me. Not my grades, not my attendance. Me. So yes, I started to feel something. A small, warm feeling, like a candle in a dark room. I told myself, he is your professor. Stop it. But feelings do not listen to rules. Over the next few months, we talked more. After class. About books. About life. He told me he had been in love once. It ended badly. He did not give details. I did not ask. But I saw the sadness in his eyes. The same sadness I had in mine. One night, after a late workshop, it was raining again. I had no umbrella. He said, "I'll walk you to your car." We walked slowly. The rain was soft. He asked, "Why do you write about sad things?" I said, "Because sad things are true." He stopped walking. He looked at me. "Nikki, happy things are also true. You just haven't found yours yet." My heart was beating so fast. I thought, if he comes closer, I will kiss him. But he didn't. He just smiled and said, "Get home safe." That night, I lay in bed and I knew. I was falling in love with my professor. And it was the most stupid, wonderful, terrible thing. But wait, the story does not end there. Because life is not a straight line. It is a circle. A messy, confusing circle. And what happened next? I never expected. So I was falling for Daniel, my professor. The man who gave me feedback on my short stories. The man who wrote beautiful pain on my paper once. I told no one. Not my best friend, Sarah. Not my mother. Not even my cat, Mr. Whiskers, who is a very good listener. Why? Because I was scared. Scared of looking stupid. Scared of being rejected. Scared that maybe I was just another student to him. A sad girl who writes sad things. But something changed on the last day of the creative writing class. It was December. Cold outside. Warm inside. He brought cookies. Homemade. Who does that? A man who wants to be liked, that's who. After class, everyone left. I stayed behind to pack my bag slowly. Very slowly. Like a turtle on purpose. He was cleaning the whiteboard. He turned around and said, "You're still here." I said, "Yeah. I wanted to say thank you. For this class." It changed something in me. He leaned against the desk. Crossed his arms. Changed what? I took a breath. I used to think love was a trap. Now I think, maybe love is a door. You just have to be brave enough to open it. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Nikki, can I tell you something?" Yes. I'm not supposed to say this. It's against every rule. But I need you to know, you are not just a student to me. You haven't been for a long time. My hands started shaking. What do you mean? He walked closer. Not too close. Just close enough. I mean, I look forward to Tuesdays because of you. I read your words and I feel like I know your soul. And that terrifies me. Because I am your teacher. And if anyone found out, I could lose my job. I felt tears in my eyes. Daniel, I feel the same. He smiled. A sad, relieved, happy smile. Then we have a problem. We did. A big problem. Because love does not care about rules. But universities do. So we made a deal. We would wait. I would finish my degree. He would not teach any of my future classes. We would keep our relationship private. Very private. No holding hands on campus. No kissing by the library. No calling each other cute names in public. For 2 years, we did exactly that. 2 years of secret dates in coffee shops across town. 2 years of texting, "I miss you" at midnight. 2 years of lying to our friends and family. It was exciting at first. Like a spy movie. But slowly, it became heavy. I wanted to shout from the rooftops, "I love this man." But I couldn't. Then, on my 21st birthday, he took me to a small park. The one where we first walked in the rain. He got down on one knee. My heart stopped. He opened a small box. A simple silver ring. He said, "Nikki, I don't want to hide anymore. Marry me. Not secretly. Marry me for real." I said yes before he finished the sentence. Yes, yes, yes. We got married 3 months later. Small wedding. My mother cried. His mother cried. Sarah, my best friend, finally knew everything. She said, "You sneaky little romantic." I laughed so hard I choked. For 6 months, we were happy. Really happy. We had a small apartment. We cooked bad food together. He burned rice. I burned toast. We ordered pizza. It was perfect. But then, the university called. They had a problem. A professor had suddenly left. They needed someone to teach an advanced literature class. They asked Daniel. He said no at first. But they begged. They said it was only 1 semester. They said the class was small. They said no one else could do it. Then they said, "And your wife, Nikki, is already enrolled. She needs this class to graduate." We looked at each other. The room went silent. I said, "What if I drop the class?" He said, "Then you delay graduation. And you've worked too hard for that." I said, What if you say no to teaching? He said, then they might not renew my contract. We need the money, Nikki. So we made a choice. A stupid, painful choice. We decided he would teach the class, and I would be in it. But we would tell the university everything. We would be honest. We would follow every rule. No favoritism. No special treatment. I would be treated like every other student. They agreed. But they added one rule. If anyone complained, Daniel would be suspended. No questions. So there I was. First day of the class. Sitting in the front row. Because the back was full. And there he was. My husband. Wearing a tie. Looking official. Looking at me like I was a stranger. He said, "Good morning. I'm Professor Evans. Welcome to Advanced Literature." I wanted to laugh. I wanted to cry. I wanted to stand up and say, "You left your socks on the bathroom floor this morning." But I didn't. I just opened my notebook and wrote the date. That first week was weird. So weird. In class, he was strict. He gave hard assignments. He called on me to answer questions. I froze every time. At home, he was soft. He made me tea. He rubbed my feet. He said, "I'm sorry. I hate pretending." I said, "Me too. But we only have 14 weeks. We can do this." And spoiler alert, we almost didn't. Because something unexpected happened. The class had other students, 20 of them. And one of them was a guy named Leo. Leo was tall, funny, loud. He sat next to me. He shared his notes. He made jokes during breaks. He was not my type, but he was nice. And Daniel noticed. One night, after class, Daniel asked, "Who is the guy who walks you to your car?" I said, "Leo. He's just friendly." Daniel's jaw tightened. "He looks at you a lot." I laughed. "Daniel, are you jealous?" He didn't laugh. "I'm your husband. I have to watch another man sit next to you every day. And I can't do anything. I can't put my arm around you. I can't even hold your hand. So yes, I'm jealous." That was the first crack. The first real fight. Not loud, but cold. We went to bed angry. Woke up quiet. Drove to school separately. Sat in the same room. Pretended. The weeks passed. The cracks got bigger. I got a B on my first essay. Daniel gave it to me. He wrote, "Good but missing depth." I knew he was being fair, but it hurt. At home, I cried. He said, "I'm sorry. I have to be fair." I said, "But I'm your wife. You know I can do better." He said, "That's exactly why I can't give you an A." I hated that answer, but I understood it. Love and fairness do not always live in the same house. Then came the day that broke me. Leo asked me to study together. At the library. Just to study. I said yes because I needed help with the material. Daniel saw us from across the library. He didn't say anything. But that night, he didn't talk to me. He slept on the couch. I slept alone in our bed. The next morning, I said, "Daniel, you have to trust me." He said, "I do trust you. I don't trust this situation. I don't trust pretending. I don't trust that we won't break." I started crying. "Are we breaking?" He didn't answer. He just picked up his bag and left for school. That afternoon in class, I sat in my seat. He stood at the board. Our eyes met for 1 second. And in that second, I saw something I had never seen before. Doubt. He doubted us. My heart cracked. Right there. In front of 20 students who had no idea. I raised my hand. He called on me. I said, "Professor Evans, can I be excused? I don't feel well." He said, "Of course." I walked out. I went to the bathroom. I sat on the floor. And I cried. Not quiet tears. The ugly kind. The kind where your whole body shakes. I thought, I can't do this anymore. I love him, but I can't sit in his class and pretend to be a stranger. That night, I went home. He was there, sitting on the couch. He looked at me. His eyes were red. He said, "I talked to the university today." I said, "About what?" He said, "About quitting." I told them I can't teach this class. Not with you in it. It's killing us. I sat next to him. What did they say? He took my hand. They said if I quit, they'll find another professor. But they also said they were impressed by our honesty. And they said something else. What? He smiled. A real smile. The first one in weeks. They said, "Professor Evans, you married a student. That's unusual, but you followed every rule. You disclosed everything. You didn't cheat the system. That takes integrity. We respect that." I laughed. A wet, teary laugh. "So we're not in trouble?" "No, we're not in trouble. And I'm not teaching the class anymore. Starting Monday, a new professor will take over." I hugged him so hard he coughed. Thank God. I was dying. He held me. "Me too. I'm sorry. I should have quit earlier. I thought I could be strong. But I can't be your professor and your husband. One of those has to win." "Which one won?" He kissed my forehead. You. You always win, Nikki. But wait. The story is not over. Because the next part is the hardest part. And it's the part one almost never tell. So Daniel quit the class. A new professor came. Her name was Dr. Miller. She was old, sweet, and wore colorful glasses. She had no idea about my complicated love life. She just wanted to talk about books. I loved her immediately. Life got easier. Daniel and I stopped fighting. We started laughing again. He burned rice. I burned toast. We ordered pizza. Life felt normal. But normal is a liar. Because underneath everything, a new problem was growing. A quiet one. The worst kind. I stopped writing. Remember how I said I was a writer? The sad girl who wrote sad things? Well, somewhere in all the hiding and pretending and almost breaking, I lost my words. I would sit with my notebook. Blank page. Blank mind. Nothing came. At first, I didn't notice. Then one day, Daniel asked, "When was the last time you wrote something just for you?" I thought about it. "I don't remember." He looked worried. "Nikki, writing is your soul. Don't lose it." I got angry. Not at him. At myself. But I took it out on him. Maybe I don't have a soul anymore. Maybe love took it. He stepped back like I had hit him. That's not fair. Neither is this. I pointed at the apartment. At the wedding photo on the wall. At the life we built. I used to have words. Now I have a husband who is my professor. I have secrets. I have a story I can't tell anyone. And I'm tired. That was the second crack. The one that broke open into a hole. We didn't fight after that. We just drifted. Like two boats on a river, floating apart. We still said, "I love you." But it sounded different. Empty. Like a song played too many times. I stopped going to class sometimes. I would sit in the park instead. The same park where he proposed. I would look at the ring on my finger and wonder, did we make a mistake? I never said that out loud, but I thought it. Every day. Then one night, something happened. Daniel came home late. He had been at a faculty meeting. He looked pale. He sat down at the kitchen table. He didn't say anything for a long time. Then he said, "I got an offer." "What kind of offer?" "A university in another state. A better job. More money. A fresh start." My heart stopped. "When?" "They want an answer by Friday." "That's 3 days." I sat across from him. "What do you want to do?" He looked at me. Really looked. "I want to know if you still want to be married to me." The room got very quiet. I could hear the refrigerator humming. I could hear my own heartbeat. I said, "Daniel, I love you. But I don't know who I am anymore. I used to be Nikki the writer. Now I'm Nikki the professor's wife. And I'm lost." He nodded slowly. Tears in his eyes. "Then maybe we need time apart." "What does that mean?" "It means I'll take the job. You finish your degree here. We take a break. We think. We heal. And then we decide." I wanted to scream no. I wanted to hold him and never let go. But a small, honest voice inside me said, "He's right. You're broken. And you can't fix broken with more pretending." So I said, "Okay." He left 2 weeks later. I helped him pack. We didn't cry in front of each other. We were too proud for that. But when he drove away, I sat on the floor of our empty apartment and cried until I had no tears left. The next few months were the darkest of my life. I went to class. I came home. I ate cereal for dinner. I didn't call him. He didn't call me. We texted sometimes. Short things. "How are you?" "Fine." Good. That's it. Sarah, my best friend, stayed with me for a week. She said, Nikki, you have to write. Even if it's bad. Even if it's one sentence. Just write. I tried. I wrote one sentence. I am sad. Then I threw the notebook across the room. But something strange happened. The next day, I picked up the notebook. I read that sentence. I am sad. And I thought, okay, why am I sad? So I wrote the answer. Then another answer. Then another. Page by page, I wrote my way back to myself. I wrote about the rain. About the classroom. About the first time I saw Daniel by the window. I wrote about the fear. The hiding. The jealousy. The fight. The goodbye. I wrote everything. Ugly. Messy. Real. And when I finished, I had a story. My story. And it was not perfect. But it was mine. 3 months passed. I graduated. I walked across the stage. My mother cheered. Sarah cried. And in the back of the auditorium, I saw him. Daniel. He came. He didn't tell me. He just came. He was wearing the gray sweater. The one from the first class. He looked older. Thinner. But his eyes were the same. After the ceremony, I walked to him. My hands were shaking. He said, "Congratulations, Nikki." I said, "Why are you here?" He said, "Because I never stopped loving you. And I read your story." I froze. "What story?" "The one you wrote in your notebook." Sarah sent it to me. She said you wouldn't mind. I wanted to be angry, but I wasn't. And he took a step closer. And I realized something. You wrote that you were afraid of being loved because people leave. But Nikki, I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. I left because I loved you too much to watch you disappear. I started crying. Daniel, I'm not your professor anymore. You're not my student. There are no rules now. No hiding. No pretending. Just two people who love each other. If you'll have me. I laughed. That wet, teary laugh. You burned rice again, didn't you? He laughed too. I burned rice. I burned toast. I burned water once. I need you, Nikki. I can't cook without you. I hugged him. Right there in front of everyone. My mother took a picture. Sarah screamed. And I didn't care who saw. That was 2 years ago. Now we live in a small house with a big garden. He teaches at a different university. I write stories. Real stories. Happy and sad and everything in between. We still burn rice. We still order pizza. But now, when I sit in the back of his classroom, yes, sometimes I visit, I don't hide. I sit in the front. And he introduces me. This is my wife, Nikki. She's a writer. And she's the best story I ever read. So, what did I learn? Love is not a fairy tale. It is not a straight line. It is a classroom. A messy, beautiful classroom. You learn. You fail. You cry. You leave. You come back. And if you are lucky, you find someone who will sit next to you through every lesson. Even the hard ones. And that, my friend, is the story of how my husband became my professor. And then became my husband again. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go. He's trying to cook dinner. And I smell smoke.